Hey everyone, this is Chris Weidman, and welcome to the third episode of Won't Back Down. On this week's episode, I'm super excited to have my brother-in-law, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who just happens to be one of the toughest and best UFC welterweights we've ever seen. He is fighting on July 10th against Gilbert Burns. He's a co-main event on the Conor McGregor-Dustin Poirier card. And the winner of this fight is probably fighting for the championship. So huge fight for him. But more importantly, he is known as the nicest MNFer in the world. And there are some skeletons in his closet that I know about. And I want to make sure they all came out to party with us and give you guys a little bit more understanding of where Wonderboy came from and some of the things he's got himself in trouble with in the past. So some really fun conversation. But before we get to that, I want to tell you about our show's presenting sponsor, BioXcellerator. BioXcellerator is the world leader in stem cell therapy and regenerative medical research. Through the use of their powerful golden stem cells, they help patients heal from joint and orthopedic injuries, autoimmune disorders, spine and disc damage, and neurological trauma. I'll be heading down to Medellin, Colombia in the end of August, early September to get some stem cells injected. I'm excited to feel way better. Make sure to check out BioXcellerator. All right, grab your popcorn and get ready. We are about to start our conversation with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So everyone always is confused on how we actually know each other and our families, and if you're my brother-in-law or you're my whatever. We're related somehow, and nobody understands how. Can you explain to me and everybody else out there how we met originally and then how we are considered family now?
Okay, everybody around the world.
And I'll just interrupt when you're wrong.
Okay. Listening to the podcast. So I don't remember what year it was, but it was right before your first Anderson Silva fight, Chris. What year was that?
Oh, 2012.
Was it really 2012?
2013 of July was when I fought him, but I think I had you in pretty early.
Yeah.
Before that.
Wow. That was like right after my first fight then. Mm-hmm. So how I knew of Chris, or how Chris's guys knew of me, I used to go train with GSP. And there was a guy there named John Danaher, which if you're a martial artist or if you followed the jiu-jitsu game, you've heard of this guy. So John Danaher knew that I was pretty good at simulating, I guess, other fighters, strikers. So he was working with Chris at the time on his jiu-jitsu and told him about me and brought me in. I think it was me and my dad flew out there to New York. Our first sparring session was in Law MMA, right?
Yep. It actually wasn't Law MMA at that point. It was,
what was it called?
You were there when it was just Longos. It was International Mixed Martial Arts Academy. Ray Longo's International Mixed Martial Arts Academy. You were there early.
So I'm pretty sure that I flew in and went straight to go spar with you.
Yeah.
I flew in, went straight into spar, never talked to this guy. We walk in, Chris is like warming up and he had his gear on. He's like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "Hi." Yeah. And so I get my gear on and we started to battle. And all I remember Chris doing was trying his hardest to drop me with body shots. He was trying his hardest to drop me with body shots. I remember after that sparring session, you disengaged something in my lower, deepest, darkest bowels of my large intestines. Because I remember going to the bathroom after that. Like when I got back to the hotel, it was amazing, actually. So it was better than any kind of smooth move, laxative,
laxatives. Yeah.
It was amazing. But yeah, I felt like you were trying pretty hard to get me out of the cage.
Yeah, and it's not because I didn't like you or anything. It was just,
you didn't even know me. I
didn't even know you.
We went straight into sparring.
I just remember Danaher saying how good you were, and I know your record was like 100-0 in kickboxing. I think what was it really? 67-0?
57-0.
57-0, sorry. And I'm like, all right, so this guy walks in the gym. And to be honest, at that time, like whoever I sparred, I was just, my goal was to try to defeat them have been, they had to either quit, do the leg kicks, do the body shots, or like a big shot to the head, and then they call them sparring. Like otherwise, I felt like I was losing. It's like that wrestling mindset where it's like in practice, your goal is to just mentally and physically beat this guy until like he wants to give up, and like your coaches would be proud of you. Yeah. But then when you get into fighting and sparring, you don't realize, like, if you keep that same mindset, it's pretty stupid because you kind of hurt everybody that you're training with. But I didn't know anybody at that point. So you walk in the door and I'm like, this kid is going to be the guy I'm going with. Like at that point, I was just killing everybody. I'm like, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to actually kind of feel bad. He's so nice. He's good looking kid. He's like smaller than me. I'm like, this is going to be bad. And then what I remember trying to take you out with body shots too, but nothing was bothering you. You still were smiling and hopping, just high-fiving around, high-fiving and asking if I'm okay or whatever. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? He was being too nice. It pissed me off and there's nothing I could do about it. And I was like, man, this kid is the real deal. It just hit me right there. Like you were so good. And I've never felt anything like that before. And then also on top of it, you were tough as hell, even though you didn't look like it. I'm like, this is my man. Like instant respect, I think for the both of us. And that's kind of where the friendship.
Yeah. Because I heard that you had sent some sparring partners home or back to wherever they came from, like a week before I even got there. I was like, what the heck am I getting myself into? But afterwards, I still have that picture of right after that sparring session with CJ. He was like 3 years old or 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And how old is he now?
He was like 1. He was like 1. He was a complete baby. Cassidy was like 2 or 3, which is crazy.
Dang, man. It seemed like it was yesterday.
I know, it's crazy.
So
such good times. And I love talking to your dad after the sparring. Like he loved anytime I did good against you. Like that's what you're supposed to do. Like your dad would be trying to cheer. He was like cheering for me,
cheering you on for me to get beat. I'm like, what the heck? He's always that way
because he knows it's going to make you better. You know. So
I remember you were leg kicking the crap out of me. Dad's like, hey, if he's not going to do anything about it, kick him again. Kick him again in the leg. If he's not going to sit there and block it, kick him again.
As opposed to some other guys I've sparred and like some big name guys, and I leg kick them, and the coach would be like, "Come on, man, like that, it's ridiculous. This is sparring." And then on the opposite side, it's your dad who's like, "Kick him harder, take his legs out,
take him out.
He's not going to check it. That's his fault."
So after that, you brought me back for the second fight, and then the Lyoto Machida, and over time, I think it was the Lyoto Machida. We started to get closer. Tony came out for the Lyoto Machida one, or was it a Vitor Belfort? Do you remember?
One of them, yeah. It's either Lyoto Machida fight or Vitor. I
think it was Lyoto because Tony wanted to come and hang out.
Yeah,
right?
Tony's his brother. Just so you guys.
Yeah, Tony's my younger brother, younger but bigger brother.
Way bigger.
Yeah,
and super athletic.
You may know him as Sweet Tea.
Very talented, super smart.
I don't get. Yeah, he's very smart, very talented, but he doesn't want to fight. It really pisses me off. He's got more talent than I have, but yet he doesn't want to do anything with it.
He's a loser. In the Wonderboy family, he's a loser because
what a loser. I know. If you're a loser if you don't fight or if you get knocked out.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough living over there. Only the tough survive.
Jeez, it is tough.
I love it. Wait, keep going. So
Tony wanted to come out and just hang out for a bit. So I asked you, you're like, yeah, man, cool. Tony flies in, gets in. We end up hanging out at your house by the pool, just chilling. And then
I think we were smoking a pipe at one point. Smoking a pipe. I don't know. Somehow I got into like smoking pipes, like legit pipes. Because I had like an uncle one time. I was at a party and he was smoking a pipe, and I literally just went and got a pipe for that. Yeah, and I think that was the last time I smoked it. Was that day with you?
Yeah, it was that once and only time. Usually that happens because you get sick afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I was immediately tore up after that. I was sick as a dog.
Yeah.
But anyway, we ended up hanging out, and then that's how you knew of Tony. And then it was probably maybe a year. I think at the Vitor Belfort fight, I ended up staying at your house. That was the first time I stayed at your house. Before you had set me up, put me up at a hotel. I came to stay with you. I
trusted you enough to be in my house with my children at that point. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or my wife trusted you enough. Me.
It was all about your wife.
Yeah.
And that's how y'all figured out that anytime I come over to your house, you got to have ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and root beer. Because I'm constantly eating root beer floats.
Yeah.
Even during camp, even during fight camp, I'm drinking root beer floats. So you knew to stock up the house with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then next thing you know, my brother ends up meeting. Well, it was Marivi and my mom that kind of
so my wife and your mom, yeah,
that kind of set that. I think it started out with Marivi.
Yeah.
And Marivi just saw that happening to make
Yeah.
it was like the perfect setup between my brother and your sister.
Yeah.
And I remember the time we came out to make that happen. Remember that?
Talking about Great Adventure?
It was so
Kevin
obvious.
James's house.
No.
Dude.
Oh, it was both.
We had some funny moments with that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We went to Kevin James's house. Kevin James, the actor, for his son's birthday. We're out there jumping on what is it? Blow-ups.
The big blow-up things,
the big
and zip line.
Riding dirt bikes, and all Tony's doing is trying to do Operation Sweeper Off Her Feet with Colleen.
And Colleen couldn't stand him at this point.
She did not.
She wanted nothing to do with him. And he was like, he wasn't eating all day. Like we had all this great food. He was like sick to his stomach because he was lovesick.
He was
and
so
at this
lovesick.
point, and just to clear it up, like I never would let any guy talk to my sister. I would never be a part of anybody.
You were protective.
Set up with I was super protective of my sister, and my brother was even worse than me, my older brother. And but it got to the point where my sister is such an amazing girl, love her to death. Like she's literally like an angel. And then I had to be like, you know what? She is 25 years old at this point. I might as well be okay with she has a boyfriend. And then on top of it, Tony was just such a good dude. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna let the reins loose on one, this would be the guy to do it with. And I am happy it worked out.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Next thing you know, she's moving down south and they get married. That was an epic situation, like an epic moment, because you, your brother he's the one that married him.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you were sitting there as a groomsman. And I look over, and as soon as that music started coming out, I look over, I'm trying to hold back the tears. I don't know why, but your body just knows to cry during weddings. Like, I'm trying not to cry. I was fine up until that point. And I look over at you and your ball, you're just letting it rip.
I'm the worst.
You're letting it rip. And then I couldn't hold it. I'm like bawling too. I'm like, oh God. It was great. That was fun wedding. That was fun.
We had some good dance offs. If anybody had any thoughts on like who was a better dancer between me and Wonderboy's got it. Wonderboy and his brother Tony both can dance. Now I do have rhythm. I could dance to a beat, but I don't have moves like they do. Being in the karate school, as long as he's been in the karate school,
Chris lives right here.
The trendy. I'm right there. I live in that box. Yep. I don't sway. My head's going with the beat.
Yeah, going the beat.
I'm good to go. You know, if I have a little bit too much to drink, I may start opening up, feeling a little confident.
A little popping and locking.
Crazy. Yeah. But if you see videos of it, I get very embarrassed. And I realize I suck. But you got some good dance moves, bro. You got some really good dance moves.
I play around with it a little bit. Around with it. You know, I'm always kept up with the new dance moves with all the kids and stuff. Teaching the kids classes, they're always.
Is there like a new one now?
Dances. No, it's all about TikTok now. TikTok dances.
Gotcha.
TikTok. I'm not into all that. I can't,
because it changes like every day. There's a new TikTok dance, right? So it's hard to
something new.
There's not like a one that's constantly trending.
Yeah. There's. I like your setup in the back, by the way.
Thanks, man. I didn't have the belt there until my wife was like, you know what, you should probably put the belt in the back. So I put that there.
I think the most important belt is the NMF back here.
Oh, the NMF.
So
let's talk about the NMF belt. All right.
You have the UFC title, and we're talking about the NMF belt.
No, listen. What's more important? NMF belt. There's no question. There's one and only NMF belt, and you have it, and it's a privilege to be on here with you today. No, but let's talk about your attitude and how nice you are, because we gotta bring it up. So you really do have, like, I feel like I have a pretty good positive outlook on life. I'm always pretty happy go lucky, but you take it to a whole nother level. Where does that come from, Wonderboy? Like all day long, you're in the karate school. Give me a little bit give me your day, and then how you feel like your attitude maybe is created because of that, or just.
Yeah. If you don't have a positive attitude, you probably won't get through the day, period. You probably will not get through the day, for one, because, you know, especially during the summer, I'm there sometimes 3 days a week at 7 a.m. Um, even if I have a camp, like a fight camp, I've got a fight coming up, I'm still there at 7 a.m. because we have karate camps during the day, right? So I'm a huge part of my family's school, Upstate Karate in Simpsonville. I'm teaching the kids classes, during the school year. I'm picking up kids from school. I'm driving a short bus. On top of that, training, around my teaching. And in the summertime, it's even more busy because kids are dropped off at 7. We have karate camp all day long. We take the kids to the water park, bowling, just doing crazy stuff. And I find time around that to train 2, sometimes 3 times a day. So I'm there from 7 a.m. and I don't leave. And it's nonstop until about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Just catering to, to kids, teaching kids, parents, talking to parents nonstop. And if you're not used to it, man, you will go down pretty quick. I've been teaching since I was, probably 14 years old, doing this for a long time. So I don't know any different at this point. I don't know any different.
But
I love it.
You're so good at it too. It's not like you're just going, you're not just in the gym or in the school with the kids and just kind of going through the motions. You literally like you put everything into it. You love it. Like when you're with those kids, you're lighting up and you're changing their days. It is crazy to see while you got a fight coming up maybe the next, week, just like you got right now, like, yeah, with this huge fight coming up and you're still in the gym. And I gotta be honest, like you killed me with this. Like this is still a big argument with me and my wife now, because I used to hang out with people that like, they would go away for their training camp, get away from their family. And all they did every single day was eat, sleep, and whatever, crap out MMA. That's all they focused on. And then me and you start getting close. And my wife's like,
did I ruin it for you?
Working all day long at this karate school. There's no breaks. And then he trains in between, like, some moments there. And he's, crushing it. He's a world level guy. And I'm like, but that Wonderboy is different. I don't know. I can't do that. That's
He's trying to get you out
doing
there
this
working.
whole life. That's not happening. Need a break, babe. Can't do certain things. Got to focus on fighting.
But you have to have a positive mindset, because number one, I'm teaching these kids every day, and they know real quick how you're feeling, just your vibe, and that's kids for you. They know if you're feeling down or your energy level's low. They pick up on that, and sometimes you can see them kind of follow how you're feeling. You know what I mean? So you got to keep that positive mindset. And that's something that I've kept with me throughout my life. As you know, it's who I am at this point. You can talk all the trash to me you want, and I'll just sit there and smile at you. It's like, I don't know. I have this mindset, life's too short. And I've known a lot of people in my life who aren't here anymore. And how fast that can go away,
Yeah.
And it's just too short to just be holding grudges, man. And just being mean. I know people who literally are that way, and it's just a sad way to live, I think.
Yeah. But when you're in the octagon, like whether it's sparring or whether it's an actual fight, are there moments in there where you're like, I'm going to rip this guy's face off right now? Or you're always helping them up. You kick them it always kills me when you like side kick them to the ground, or, front kick them to the ground, and then you try to help them up, as opposed to jumping all over them and try to finish them. Or you rock them, they fall, and you're like, oh, hey, you need help up? Like, bro, finish the fight. What are you doing? And I know your dad's going nuts. Like,
or saying,
you have, and I know I'm going to bring up some moments where I've seen you a little upset, but is there that tenacity in a fight? Do you have like where, all right, it's time to like crush this guy, even though it may not appear like you have that in your head?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have that mindset anytime I step out there, like before I step out there. And,
what mindset? What is your mindset to a fight?
Number one, I'm thinking in my head. Obviously, I'm telling the truth here, because, you want to tell everybody like, oh, I'm going to go out there and crush this guy. I'm going to go out there. But really, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm nervous as crap. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to beat this guy. This is going to back. But at the same time, you're like, oh God, I'm just so scared, man. I don't want to walk out there right now.
Yeah.
But I made it to this point. I can't leave now. So I got to go do this.
Yeah.
And, but when I get in the cage, it all disappears. And during camp, that's my mindset. I'm going to crush this guy. I'm going to beat this guy. No matter what this guy does to me, I'm going to fight through it. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat him. And that's kind of like the mindset you have to have going in there. When I fought Matt Brown, like I was getting the crap beat. Well, I was in some really tough situations. Even when I fought Tyron, I made a pact kind of in here that I wasn't going to give up. That I'm going to take all the punishment in the world. But if they beat me, they're going to remember me. They're not going to want to fight me again. Even if they beat me, I'm going to give them that much trouble. But kind of that's kind of like my mindset during camp. Now, when I'm out there, the reason I hit these guys or they trip up and fall is I don't want the slipperiness of the canvas is the reason that I won the fight. Yeah. Me stepping on their foot, them falling down is the reason that they want that I won the fight. It's like, don't take that honor from me. I want to beat these guys at their best. So get back up and let's do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I was younger, when I was full of testosterone, yeah, I had that mindset. I would get hit and that would piss me off.
Yeah.
That would make me so mad anytime somebody hit me. Even in sparring, I was that way. You hit me one time, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, it's like, why be that way? You know what I mean? Why? Yeah. I don't have to put myself in that situation to beat this guy.
Yeah.
I can do it with a smile on my face. And at the same time, maybe the person I'm fighting will learn something as well.
Do you feel like when you're smiling at them and you're, talking nice to them in the octagon, do you feel like is there a part of you that does it to know that it's getting in their head? Like you possibly, it's such a mind game in the fight. Is a part of you also doing it knowing like he doesn't know how to handle dealing with such a nice guy inside the octagon? Because usually even in sparring, things get heated more than they get nice.
Yeah. Well, at first I didn't think so, but after my last fight with Jeff Neal, it rubbed off on him.
Yeah. He started being nice to you.
He started being nice to me. I'm like, he ended up falling down and I was like, oh man, come on, get back up. He got back up, we bumped gloves. And then I think it was the second or third round. I ended up falling down and he let me back up. We bumped gloves. He's like, respect, man. I'm like, respect, dude.
Yeah.
And then we were having conversations out there in the cage and he had me up against the fence. He's like, whoo, man, I'm tired, man. I was like, let's go, man. Let's go. Or something. No, he dropped his mouthpiece out of his mouth. And I was like, hey man, pick that up. You get that. He's like, thanks, man. He's like, man, I'm tired, boy. I was like, yes, let's keep fighting. we just kept fighting. Oh, it was the weirdest thing.
Ready, go.
Yeah, ready, set, go. And dude, yeah, it just rubs off on him. I don't know why. I do that. You
said your mindset changed after the Matt Brown fight. Is that
No. So not as I've gotten older, it has become that way. It has become to the point where it is now, where I walk out with a smile on my face because I've realized I can beat these guys and not be mad.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better, especially afterwards, that I did it in a respectful way, that I didn't have to sit there and like, mean mug this dude because, and on top of that, I've seen guys try and be that bad guy before the fight and they just end up getting crushed and it makes them look bad.
Yeah.
I don't want, if I want to get knocked out, number one, it's already embarrassing. Two, you're trying to be this hard ass before, and then you get knocked out. Then it's even worse because it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now you're in a training camp to fight Gilbert Burns, yes. Co-main event on a Conor McGregor card, huge card. I wanted to be on this card with you so badly. And then obviously my leg broke in half.
No.
But it's a huge opportunity for you. I think you win this fight, you're in title contention and some big paydays and just your sky's the limit, And so where are you at with training and how you feeling for this one and what's your expectations?
I feel great, man. Weight's coming down. I've got this week and then we head out. So basically 2 weeks before I step out in the octagon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel good. I feel fast. I feel strong. My cardio levels up. As at this point, we're just working on cardio, maybe doing some drills, some situational stuff. The things that we might think that Gilbert Burns is going to try and do during the fight.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't have you in for this camp.
It's all right.
But
my soul was with you. My spirit.
Yeah. Your spirit was with. So I had some guys come in to simulate him. Some really strong guys come in. Had a Penn State guy named Geno's come out and just shoot. God, it's ridiculous. Y'all wrestlers are strong as an ox. This dude, his name is Gino, super nice guy. Awesome, man. He's out of I think Austin or Houston, Texas, I believe. But he wrestled for Penn State. He's going over to MMA. Why am I blurry right now?
Yeah, there you go. Wow, you know how to refocus.
I
think you did it. That happened to me once too.
Really? Did you figure that out?
I figured it out. I did the same thing. Great minds think alike.
But this guy was awesome, man. He definitely gave me a good look. He's moving over to MMA as well, but had Ryan Hall come in at the beginning of the camp as well, of course. But right now it's just focusing on cardio, keeping that cardio level up. I want to know that I can go out there and do the hardest 3 5-minute rounds possible. Yeah. I learned that from the grind, from working out with you, from training with you. Ooh. I've trained with a lot of champions, right? Rashad Evans, Nate Marquardt was a champion at one point in another organization, George St. Pierre, yourself, Anderson Silva, Lyoto Machida. But what I've got from you is your grind that you have, that mindset that you're going to break people. And no matter how tired you get, you continue to keep pushing forward. And I learned that from Dave, like the first sparring session with you, how you just try and break people and watching you fight. And that's the mind of it that a champion's got to have. And I try and keep that with me every time I have a sparring session. I could be in the worst shape of my life, but whoever I'm sparring with, my goal is to try and break them.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously in a different skill set, you use your, the wrestling, the pressure. I try and use my movement and things like that, the ability to move and break them that way. But that mindset's awesome, man. It's unbelievable. So it's helped me through everything. And that's something that I've learned. I think one of the biggest things that I learned from you was that.
I will say I appreciate that. But I will say one of the things that are probably overlooked about you more than anything. Everybody knows about how fast you are and how dynamic you are on your feet, but people don't notice enough how tough you are and how unbreakable you are. Whether it's our sparring sessions and I'm doing everything I possibly can to break in, and literally 99.9% of the people break, there's no breaking you. You always get back up to your feet. Whether if I take you down, you're back up to your feet, and you got that same bounce on your feet, and you're still just as dangerous and dynamic as you are in the first round, in the third round. And that's why I think between how athletic you are, how good you are on your feet, and also how much better you got with takedown defense over the years and your jiu-jitsu. I think right now is your time to shine, where you're going to make a run and get that title fight and win the belt. And it's going to be some huge moments for you, because I just think like Gilbert Burns, for example, he is a strong, grappler, short, stocky, swings heavy. You've gone against guys like that your whole life, guys who are just trying to take your head off because you're annoying to fight. You're so fast, and your distance control is something that people just can't get a hang of, and they get very frustrated and confused, and they just want to take your head off. So you're so good against guys like that. And then now with your takedown defense on top of it, and even if you do get taken down, the fact that like to submit you is almost impossible. We saw that with the Tyron Woodley fight. The guy had your neck twisted in ways that the neck should not be twisted. And people got a glimpse of how tough you are and your submission defense. But then when you get back up to your feet, you're still that same dangerous guy. And as a fighter, to be stuck on your feet with a guy like you, it's a scary feeling, because they've seen all the knockouts. They know all the different moves you could do. And when you're bouncing and they're trying to cover distance by plotting, like most guys do, they kind of plot forward. You don't know that you just have such an advantage on them, which I learned. I didn't realize the whole karate stance and the bouncing, like your whole style. I didn't understand until we first sparred. And then right away, I was like instant respect. I try to do it all the time ever since for such a long time. I haven't really had the balls to do it too much in fights yet. I was planning on doing in this last fight because it really is a lot of what I do in sparring too.
Dude, you do it a lot, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love
what
it.
the heck? Why don't you do this in the fight? You know what I mean?
I
But
know.
then at the same time, I'm like, you better beat this guy, because if you go out there, moving like a karate guy, people are gonna blame me.
It's Wonderboy's fault.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a tough, I guess, skill set to prepare for. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult. You got to bring in guys, and it's funny because everybody brings in the same guy. Raymond Daniels bringing the same. Like, I feel like I should get like a percentage of whatever they're paying him, because
I know
he's going out every time.
You gave him a career. You gave him a new career.
Helped him with, that Rory McDonald brought him out. Tyron Woodley brought him out. Gilbert Burns has him now.
Oh, he has him out too?
Yeah, I had him out there for a little bit.
Oh, man.
So we'll see. Well, what happened with karate guys stick together? You know what I'm saying? I haven't helped anybody get ready for him. Come on,
Raymond Daniels.
Come on, Raymond
I think
Daniels.
you guys are going to have to fight it out at one point. You're going to have to go back to karate style.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, Raymond Daniels is awesome. His spinning back kicks are unbelievable. But you are you from both sides, you're so diverse, and you have such like strong techniques, and you got power.
It doesn't make a difference. I don't think it really matters. Like we have such a different style. It's different until you step out there. Until you step out there and actually feel it, it's different. It's way different.
Yeah, so, I would hate to fight you. I would hate to like sparring you after all these years. I'm not afraid to get in. Like I know what it feels like. It's not as a scary thing for me. But the first couple times to spar with you was super scary because you've never felt anything like it. There's nobody else that can replicate what you do. And then all of a sudden to be thrown into a fight with you, that's a scary thing for these guys. No matter what their background is, they know that there's this unknown. With everybody else, there's really not too many unknowns. Like you have great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts to go with. There's tons of them. They're all over the place. There's great wrestlers everywhere. But there's not really anybody who moves like you that people could bring in and to really replicate you the right way, where they're going to feel comfortable, like it's just another fight once they get in there. That's such a huge advantage.
Yeah, you're starting to see, more and more people kind of using some of the karate things.
Oh, yeah.
The side kick, the sideways stance. I know Henry Cejudo, before he retired, was doing that sideways stance, that karate kind of movement style. He had kind of converted over to that. But it takes a long time to be able to, well, you've been doing it since 2012, right? Yeah. The movement.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very difficult to get to learn and then be able to do that in a real situation. Right. So, I feel like in MMA, you're trying to learn the wrestling, the boxing or Muay Thai, whatever you're doing. And the jiu-jitsu so fast that you're not really focused on the detail of the striking, right?
Yeah.
Or just one aspect of it. So you don't get those small details of what make it.
Yeah. People tend to like pick and choose. They'll be like, all right, I'm going to be a boxer and a wrestler, and so they're going to be, hands up real tight and plot forward, as opposed to being a complete mixed martial artist, which is that karate stance and the way you're able to move on your feet. Is whether it's something that you're going to do all the time. I think it's something that everybody should have in the repertoire to be able to bring that out in a fight. Because you never know if that's going to be something that's going to win you the fight, something that that like your opponent's going to feel uncomfortable with.
You got to be a ninja.
But I also think it starts with coaches. There's a lot of old school coaches. They see that and they're like, you're going to get leg kicked, or you're going to, whatever excuse they got that you shouldn't be in that sideways stance and you shouldn't be able to move like that. Or
don't want to do what it takes to be able to work with somebody both sides. Like I know a lot of guys who want to do mid work. The guy has to keep a certain side forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't want to take, have to deal with it takes to be able to switch sides and have to deal with somebody switching sides and doing mids.
Yeah. I think you got to be open-minded and not be afraid of being creative. And especially in practice, if you're just starting out MMA, like you need to work everything. Like, don't be afraid you don't want to be winning every single sparring session when you're just starting out, because you're doing what comes most natural to you. You should like open it up and like try new things, watch Wonderboy fight, watch, George St. Pierre fight, watch other guys fight, and pick and choose different things from each guy and just try it. And it may not be pretty, but like you'll get better and better and better.
That's what I've done, man. I used to go back and watch all the Muhammad Ali fights, and Roy Jones Jr. I would watch that dude constantly and learn just with my hands, because he moved like a karate guy. The way he would cover distance and stuff. So does Mayweather.
There's some boxers that do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And those guys, even Anderson Silva kind of did a little bit of the karate move. You saw in his last boxing match, he's sitting there doing pulling strikes and things like that.
He looked great.
Did you watch that fight?
He looked, yeah, I watched it. I thought he looked unbelievable. First of all, it was one of the things that people want to talk about. He had to weigh in at 182 pounds, which was the lightest he's ever had to weigh in at. And I think he looked better than ever.
Yeah. He looked
his
fast.
movement. I mean, that's a world champion boxer, and he put a clinic on that guy. There was no way that was a split decision. Did you actually see the full fight or just some of the highlights?
No, I saw a bunch of the clips, but whatever I saw, it was Anderson Silva just piecing him up.
Yeah, he dominated. I was like, man, are they going to really steal this from him? I thought they were going to steal from him.
How many rounds?
I think 8 or 10. Eight, I think.
8 rounds.
8 or 10.
Dang, he was piecing him up. He was old Anderson Silva.
Great cardio.
Yeah, back in the corner. Come on, man, here. Let's go.
I loved it. I literally was dying. And now we're new friends, after he came on my podcast. So now I'm Anderson Silva's biggest fan, rooting for him. And I think it's a great time, being him right now in this market with all the YouTubers and the TikTokers
boxing,
and everything, and
making money, man.
Boxers are just crushing it. So I'm happy for him. He's going to be making some huge paydays. I think he did really good in this last one.
So what's next? Roy Jones for him?
I think so. I think Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
They've been talking about fighting since like when Anderson Silva was the face of the UFC and still champion. They were talking about doing like a one-off Roy Jones Jr.
Really?
I would love to see that.
I would too.
And I say Anderson Silva wins. Did you watch Tyson Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah, did not impress me, Roy Jones, at all.
Either. And I'm a huge Roy Jones Jr. fan too.
Me too. But he's put on some pounds.
Yeah.
The pounds definitely slowed him down for sure.
Yes.
And Anderson looked lean and mean, man.
Yeah, still just as quick, confident.
Still a ninja out there. At what, 40? How old is he?
46 or 44.
What?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
wow.
Crazy. All right. So Gilbert Burns, tell me what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Gilbert Burns?
Well, number one, it's like preparing for Rory McDonald all over again. He's very well rounded. He's knocked people out. Or Johnny Hendricks getting ready for him.
Yeah.
He's a shorter guy, shorter reach. He can explode. He's got heavy hands. He's got a good left check hook, which he knocked out Damian Maia with. And of course, he's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. Will I ever be as good at him at Brazilian jiu-jitsu? I don't think so.
But when you're 85,
and
he's
100%.
He's not doing it anymore. You're gonna outlive everybody. So
I will outlive everybody. That's the plan.
You're still a little kid, so it doesn't change.
At heart, I am.
Yeah.
I am. Chris knows.
Even though you're way older than me, you don't look like it.
So, when we hang out, you're a kid as well.
Yeah,
I think I bring it out of you.
You're very good at making adults into children.
Yeah, 100%. It sounds kind of weird, but
Wonderboy hates talking about Gilbert Burns right now. Just so everybody knows, he does not like talking about
everything
fighting
I can to change
reality.
the subject.
Like he just went right into like changing me into a little kid. Whatever.
But he's good. He's good. Every fight starts standing up. I'm confident in that. I'm not expecting a knockout. I'm prepared for a 3-5 minute round war. And I always visualize my hand being raised at the end of the fight. Like I know at this point, I've done everything I can to prepare for this, and win or lose, I'm happy with that. That I prepare. If I didn't prepare myself and I didn't put in the work, then I have a reason to be upset.
Yeah.
And that's something also that I've learned as I've gotten a little older as well is, the title is awesome, but bettering yourself now, I think it's more about trying to be the best person that I can be. And in doing that, could work for the title, could get you the title. But as of right now, it's just making myself better. That's my number one goal. A lot of guys see the goal, see the title being the ultimate thing, which in my eyes, it's bettering myself is the ultimate thing. That will come in doing so.
Yeah. And I think that's a great mentality for a fighter to have, so you don't so it's just to deal with all the pressure, because there's so much
Yeah.
pressure when you walk inside the octagon. If you make it the biggest deal ever and you put so much pressure on yourself during camp, I think the moment will become too big. But for you just to be focused on yourself and working on everything that you could control, and whatever happens at the end of the day is going to happen. It's God's plan, and you're going to move on. Like, I think is the best way to just go into a fight. There's no pressure on you. You did everything that you can control during camp. Right. And
I learned that the hard way too. The Anthony Pettis fight, did everything I could to prepare for the fight, was doing everything like I was supposed to do during the fight. And then even though I was beating him, ended up getting knocked out. It's like, didn't see it coming. Just didn't see it. I did everything I could, did everything right. But my mindset for that one was just, hey, now I don't have to worry about it anymore. I know what it feels like to get knocked out, and I can just go out there and fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
I know. Yeah. I'll never forget.
You were there.
I don't know if you remember how it happened, because you asked me 1,000 times.
All I remember it was these sparklies fading away. Like, when you stand up too fast.
Yeah.
It was like that. And then you're sitting there smiling at me. Like, you asked me the same question 20 times, Steven. Don't ask me again.
I know.
Like, I remember the doctor, like, low key, barely remember the doctor asking me questions, and you're helping me cheat with the answers.
Yeah.
They're like, do you know what day it is? I'm like, They're like, come on, Steven, you know what today it is? It's not Friday. I'm like Saturday.
Wait, the fight was in.
Cheat on a test.
Where was the fight? Nashville Nashville.
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Nashville.
So that's what. So we're in the back, and he keeps asking over. So we're in the back, and the doctors are examining him, and they're trying to decipher like how badly hurt he is. And I'm with him. His dad was out like talking to the commission or something, and so it's just me and Wonderboy in the back, and he keeps asking the doctors and me, wait, what happened? And I'm like, so I'm the only one talking to him. So I'm like, Steven, you were dominant in the fight. Second round, like, you had him pushed against the cage, and he hit you with a Superman punch, and that was it. You're like, what? He hit me with a Superman punch? Oh. And then like literally right from that to, wait, what happened? I'm like, so you winning the whole entire fight. You looked amazing. And the second round happened. You had him pushed against the fence, and like he hit you with the Superman punch. And I'm trying not to laugh or anything. It's a terrible moment. And then you're like, he knocked me out with a Superman punch. Oh my God. He's like, wait, what happened?
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
yo,
like a broken record.
Steven, stop asking me this question. The doctor's looking at me. They're like, Steven, do you know where you are right now? And you're like, no. I'm like, Steven, we're very close to where you live. Where do you live? And you're like, Simpsonville. Okay, what state? South Carolina. Okay, like one of the states next to South Carolina.
He's helping me cheat.
And he couldn't get out. Like, Nashville, Tennessee. It was
probably never.
It was funny to talk about it after the fact. And
I thought
Steven,
it was
obviously,
funny then.
he's cool. He's funny as hell. Like, obviously, losses happen. We've all been there. He knows. I know what it feels like. So, I'm not making fun of him, because it's not fun to be in that situation. But it's just funny how the body reacts.
It's great.
And I'm like, bro, stop! I don't want you to, like, they're gonna send you to the hospital forever.
It's okay. We talk about this all the time. Like, every time, like, fights come up, I'm talking about myself getting knocked out. So
I know, yeah. So like people
time.
People may think I'm like picking on you right now, but I'm not. This is just usual talk between us. So wait, before I want to get into some funny stuff.
Okay.
But before we do that, the whole, like, one of the premises of this podcast is talking to people that overcame adversity and have a positive outlook and are doing great now. And you do have that story. I don't think it's been told too many times, with your ACL and your whole knee, and that was pre even fighting. Can you go into like that a little bit and how you were able to overcome that situation?
Yeah. So this was probably about 15 years ago, 2005, 2006. I was fighting Raymond Daniels in the World Combat League. And
that bastard.
First 30 seconds in the first round, ended up tearing every ligament in my left leg, tore everything. And this was, I look at it as kind of a blessing in disguise. And I'll get into that in a second, but ended up tearing everything, all the CLs. They took 40% of my meniscus out. And I remember being at the doctor and them telling me I'll probably never fight again. So before that, kind of rewind, I was fighting every weekend. Kickboxing, been doing that since I was 15 years old, fighting every weekend, it felt like. And I was getting burnt out with fighting. And it was a time where I didn't really know how to bring it to my dad, because my dad's been in my corner. He sacrificed so much for me, this guy, to be able to fight. And I just didn't know how to tell him I didn't want to do it anymore. So it came as a blessing in that, like it got me in a situation where I was out for 3 years and it kind of rekindled that flame. But I think what really did it was that doctor telling me I would probably never fight again. As soon as I heard that, it was a challenge for me. It was like, no, this is not going to be the reason why I don't fight again. It's not going to happen. And me at the time, man, I was a different person when it came to athletics. I was just, cutting backflips and stuff off of houses. I was doing some crazy stuff, man, crazy stuff.
You are a freak.
And I can't do that stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Because of my knee, which is a good thing, because I probably end up killing myself. But yeah, I was out for 3 years, man. And in that time, I remember after my surgery, I was up on a Bosu ball, a chair the next day, hitting the bag. Like, this is not going to be the reasons why I'm not going to be able to. I don't know what it was, but it was as soon as that doctor told me that I would never fight again, I was like, no, I can feel it inside of me, that kind of that flame rekindling a little bit, and over time, me going back to the gym and doing the things that I was able to do. I couldn't move around. I couldn't do anything. I had a cadaver tissue for a new ACL. And I remember the doctor telling me, 5 months in after the surgery, your knee's going to feel great, but your ACL is going to be at its weakest point. And I didn't listen to my doctor. I went out there, started flipping around, ended up twisting my knee again, had to go back under the needle. They had to add more tissue to that ACL, and that repaired my meniscus. I couldn't put any weight on that leg for 6 to 8 weeks. And it's crazy. It takes your whole life to get your quads to where they are today. It only took 8 weeks for my quad to be as big as my calf. That's how much it atrophied. It was ridiculous. Crazy. And it took me 3 years to get my legs back to where they need to be to fight. 3 years. So did I ever think I was going to fight? Like, did I ever believe the doctor at any point? Not at all. I didn't believe him. And I still see that doctor today. I saw him not too long ago, a few weeks ago, to check out my hand and my leg. And still to this day, like, every time I see him, it's like, you told me you were going to do this again,
Yeah.
And I didn't let that no be the reason for me not to do what I love to do. And, and that's the thing with a lot of people, they're not willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
They're not willing to fight through adversity. And I don't know if it's because they've never been there before. They never experienced hard work. And it's kind of sad to say that people have never been in some kind of hard situation. But, here in the US and America, everybody, you live in America, it doesn't matter where you are status wise, you're living the dream, man. If you've ever been to any other places, like some rough places,
oh yeah,
you're living the dream, man. So, it's crazy to say that, I'm blessed to be able to grow up in the martial arts, because it's helped me be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You have put me in some uncomfortable situations, man. Some places where I felt like I couldn't breathe, like claustrophobic type situations where, oh my God, I just wanted to tap. And I'm like, I'm not going to tap. I'm not going to tap. So, I'm the martial arts and wrestling for you has helped you. I think giving you that mindset to help you put you in those kind of situations. But I wasn't going to let that be the end of my career. So
that doctor deserves a thank you. He motivated you.
100%.
Yeah.
Dr. Folk. Oh, Dr. Folk.
Dr. Folk, you created Wonderboy. You created an animal.
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I think if those words never came out of his mouth.
All right. I want to lighten this up now. I want to go to some funny things. Well, first off, we got to tell a story about how you are the NMF. I wanted to get in this earlier, but I missed it. But there has been a couple circumstances where I've seen you not be so nice, not really deserve the NMF title anymore. And it's when there's a movie on and someone's talking during a movie. It's in his genes. It's in his blood. His dad is the same way. You don't want to talk during a movie with Mr. T around, even if it's the coming attractions.
That's who I get it from. That's who I get it
matter. So, do you want me to tell a story about the movie theater in Long Island?
I think you tell it better. You tell it better.
All right. So, and you could interject at any time and tell me I'm wrong or whatever. But so we're at this movie theater with me, Wonderboy, and like two other friends. Was Volante with us? I
think Volante and he owns the two girls. Yeah, no, it wasn't George.
Two girls?
No, he has two. He owns the dog.
Brad Gruber.
Brad
Gruber, our boy Brad Gruber. So we're hanging out. We're in the movie theater, and there's the coming attractions. And there's some kids behind us. It's kind of a packed movie theater, and I call it the coming attractions. I don't know if there's another word for it, but
the previews.
The previews. All right. So the previews are on. And I'm not the biggest movie guy, but I enjoy movies, but I'm not like super into it like this guy over here. And so the previews are on, and these kids, I guess, are just talking behind us. They're eating the popcorn, relaxing.
Whoa, they were talking loudly.
They were talking loudly. And Wonderboy's to my left, and all of a sudden I just feel Wonderboy. I can just feel his presence. Just turn and look behind him and just stare. And so I look. I see he's looking at these kids, and then he turns back around. He's still watching, the previews. So he turns around again. He stares at these kids, and he's just looking at them. And I'm looking at him like, whoa, what is Wonderboy doing? Like staring at these kids. And he turns back around again. I'm like, now I'm starting to catch on. Like, is he pissed that they're talking right now? And next thing you know it, he turns around. He's like, shut up. He's like, don't freaking talk during the movie. They're like, it's just the previews. He's like, I don't care. I paid to be in here, and I want to watch the previews. And he turns back around, and I'm like, looking at him. I'm like, are we about to fight these kids right now?
Yeah, I was about to fight these. You would have to be my backup.
Yeah.
And you know what, Gino, we saw A Silent Place 2, and Gino came with me and Carrie, my girlfriend, and another friend. And same thing, almost had to fight some people. Okay, for one, if I pay for a movie, for a cinematic adventure, I want to hear the previews. I want to get into the previews. And that's one thing I hate missing. I want to see the upcoming attractions.
Yeah.
I've always been that way as a kid. Now, obviously, technology is crazy. You can literally go online and see all the previews coming up. But that's my jam. If I go to a movie, I want to see the previews, man. I want to get excited about the previews, getting into the next movie, getting to the film. And you cannot talk. That's something that my dad, it's rubbed off on me, man. You bump his seat. If you talk during a movie theater, he's saying something to you. I don't care if you're 5 years old. This is his thing. You bump his seat. He does this every time. You bump his seat, he'll go. Super dramatic. He'll go. And just stare at you. Don't even say anything.
I've seen it. Even in the house with family members. You got like Hayden in the back, maybe like a little snarkle. And he just...
Dude. And then I'll look back at the same time, and the person that he has no idea, sometimes, and usually it's just some kid or some teenager, and they're just sitting there like just looking down on my dad like this. Don't even say anything. They just have a staring battle at that moment. And I'm like, all right, who's going to blink first? Like, it's an epic battle before the movie. This miniature, in-game war, Thanos versus the Avenger battle of the stare. And my dad wins every time.
Yeah, he ain't losing. There's no way he's losing. He'll force that guy. Dad will sit there and look at him until the guy looks at the guy next to him and starts talking to him. Oh my God, your dad's the best.
Oh Lord. So
really
yeah, dude, I don't know what it is.
So yeah, you lose the belt if it comes to movies, because you're gonna get pissed off. You get pissed off way too easy when it comes.
Am I blurry again? I'm blurry.
No,
it's really making me mad.
Maybe a little bit.
Blurry again.
Now you're good. It's fine.
Okay.
It's all right. It's a podcast. People listen to it too. So if you can't see him clearly, I know he's super good looking and very pale, but so you might want to check him out on YouTube. But if not, you can listen to him on Spotify or hopefully Apple Podcasts soon. Still waiting for that to be okay.
Super happy that
I want to get into some other crazy stories.
Go for it.
And I'll let you just kind of take it. But I'm just going to give some keywords, and I just want you to go into it. We're going over on time. What do you have to get out of here? Like,
what time is it?
It's almost 10.
Oh no, dude, we're good.
Okay, pretty good. Okay. I did talk to Tony about some of these to come up with some even better ideas. All right. On top of the karate school with a bunch of 14-year-old kids eating pizza.
Yeah.
Give me that story.
All
because
right.
some people don't realize how much you're 38 years old now.
38 now.
But you are a kid at heart.
I am.
And
it just sounds like a really cool, fun thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool idea.
Go ahead.
God, why am I blurry, Chris?
I don't know.
I don't want to ruin the podcast because I'm blurry. Okay.
I think it's
so. My brothers and sister, my sister Lindsay, my brother Evan moved away to Dallas, Texas. So it's me and my brother Tony pretty much hanging out all the time. He's in high school. He's probably a senior, maybe. Junior.
No, he told me he was 14. He's a freshman in high school. He said he was 14 to 15.
He might have been a freshman. So him and his buddies, I'm their ride everywhere they go. I'm their ride. So we're just hanging out at the karate school, and they're at Hillcrest, new school, because I went to Hillcrest. I know like all the teachers there and everything. Hillcrest High School, and they're like, "Yo." It was like a Saturday night. They're like, "Hey man, let's get on top of Hillcrest High School." I was like, "Dude, let's do it, man. There's nothing else to do. We're at the karate school, just having fun. Let's go do it." Small town, nobody's really going to say anything. And so we get up on top of the roof, blah blah blah, of Hillcrest High School, just running around, just acting crazy. And then we were like, "Hey man, let's go back. I'm hungry. Let's get some pizza." And then I was like, "Hey, it was super dark. It was probably 1 a.m., really dark. The stars were out, not a whole lot of lights. You could see the stars. I said, let's order some pizza, get on top of the karate school, and just eat under the stars. Eat the pizza, just chilling."
All right, so they're like 14, 15. You're 23-ish. So you're driving around.
Probably.
They still don't have their learner's permit. And you're getting the pizza, hanging out. And this is like 3 a.m, right? So you got them out late.
Super late.
And
man.
You guys are chilling on top of a high school.
Ordered pizza, got on top of the old karate school, which is a little mini mall, right? Our old school.
Oh, so you're on top of the karate school's building.
On top of the karate school.
Yeah.
And there's like our school and like tea shops and barber shops and all, and like down this little mini mall. So we get up on top of it and we got the pizza in our hand. And there's different spots. Like when I was a kid, we ran Simpsonville. It's like a little old town. I used to get on top of all the buildings as kids, and just run around being a little hooligan. And so there's different spots to get up on top of the building. Well, there was this one really easy spot because we had pizzas and drinks and stuff. So we get up on top there. And as soon as we get on top of there, it's kind of lit, with lights. A police officer pulls up to a stop sign right behind us, and he sits there for a little bit. We're frozen, like, is this guy going to say anything? Like, we get on top of the building all the time. If he says something, this is the first time anybody's ever said anything to me. We just end up getting on top of the building, whatever. He drives off. We're up there sitting in this certain spot. There's like, you get on top of this first building, and there's like another ledge you get on top of, pretty high up. So we get up easily, just run up the wall, get up on top of there where it's kind of dark, eating, just chilling, talking about, I don't know what we were talking about, just having a good time with my brother and his buddy. And next thing you know, we see this police officer get on top of the lower part, and we can easily see him. He couldn't see us because we're in the shadows, and he's walking up and down. He's got his flashlight. And we were like, hey, I was like, we stayed up there because we didn't think we were doing anything that wrong, And we could have easily gotten down. I was like, guys, you want to get down? Because there was a spot right next to there. He would have never saw us. We would have gotten down easily and just gotten away. So we were like, nah, let's chill. And then next thing you know, like 20 minutes later, he comes back, like 2 more police officers get on top of the bill. I was like, okay, they're looking for us. These guys are looking for us right now. So we're just staying quiet, just eating. We're still eating the pizza. And the police officer gets to the ledge and he's like, can barely see over the ledge, and he uses his flashlight and he's like, freeze. He's like yelling at us, don't move, stay right there. And I'm like, okay. I was like, we're not going anywhere. And then he flashes his light on me. He's like, look, boys, it's Wonderboy. He's like, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're in for it now, pal. You know, he's like trying to act tough. And I knew this guy. I knew this police officer, you know? And afterwards, I saw him at like Walmart or something. He's like, man, I'm so sorry. I was so mean. My commanding officer was there, so I had to act tough.
Oh, really?
And he was so mad. He told his one of the deputies, like, hey, call the fire department. I'm gonna need a ladder to get on top of this. Like, no, you don't need a ladder. We can just get down. We can just jump down. And it was so funny because we didn't just jump down. We were like flipping down like ninjas. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy. And I was like, you know, I didn't think we were doing it wrong. I was like, we could have gotten down easily. You never saw us up there. You wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything. And he was just being.
Hang on. When Tony was telling me the story, I think the funniest part was that when the cops started coming and you guys realized the cops were there, that you like pulled them together and like, all right, this is what we're going to do. If they come up here, we're going to get down this way. We're going to slide down this pole.
Yeah, I had a game plan.
But apparently like they surrounded you. So you guys couldn't do that. You kind of had to give up. And he said, when you guys got down, they're like asking like, you know, Tony's friend, his name and, you know, his age, and then Tony, his age and like where he's from. And they're like, 14 years old, both of them. And then like,
wait, I was getting to that. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
So we're flipping down. Okay. Like a bunch of ninjas. These guys are like getting on their knees and their butts and having to shuffle off the building, you know? And one of the police officers dropped his flashlight, and our buddy Joseph picks it up and does this really cool ninja move where he spins it around, you know, and it spins around his hand and grabs it. And like, he's like, here you go. And like hands the police officer his weapon. You know, it's like, you know, these dudes could probably beat the crap out of you guys and gotten away with it, but or whatever, just gotten away.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're still on the hood of their car, and he's like, oh, I want to tell Mr. T. And at the time, like they were living like probably 15, 20 minutes away because their house was being built, right? They're the house living in now.
Yeah.
And it was so late, you know, my dad was going to be pissed. It was so late. And he's going down the line. It's like three of our friends. And then Tony, he's like, how old are you? He's like 14. How old are you? 15. How old are you? He's like, and Tony's like, I'm 14. And he looks at me. He's like, Steven, how old are you? I'm like, 25. I'm like a grown man up there just chilling around, just hanging out. And it was terrible. My dad got called up there, and of course my dad he was pissed. But I think he was laughing at it more than he was just pissed. But he had to act pissed in front of the police officers. You know,
I love it.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Hey, we have time probably for two more stories, and I got a surprise for you. So I'm going to give you some choices. Either the neighborhood pool story. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh my God.
Okay, so either that one, I'll give you some choices. The gun in your dad's car, the warrant for the bomb guy, Drano. Just giving some keywords out to you, or the swing sets in other people's backyards and all that.
Okay, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those that I can talk about, and one that I cannot talk about. Okay, we'll talk about. Okay, so growing up, we lived in a neighborhood. I'm not going to mention this neighborhood's name, but we were freaking ninjas, man. Yeah, and I did this up until I was like early 20s, man. Me and my brother, even when we were teenagers, we lived there for a long time. When I was in elementary school, middle school, even high school. On the weekends, of course, I was a freaking ninja. You know, going to the martial arts, I had like a ninja suit. I would run around the neighborhood, and me and my buddies, when we were in like middle school, like I took it seriously. Like I really wanted to be a freaking ninja. I still do. I'm still wanting to be a freaking ninja.
Yeah.
So I had it down pat. I was so good, man. I would even go out by myself. Because my brother's like, hey, bro, let's go do ninja. They're like, no, man, I want to sit here and play video games, whatever. I would go out by myself and just perfect my craft of being a ninja.
This is great.
Running up like 6-foot fences, flipping off, you know, hiding from people, you know, people would be driving up in their car, walking into their house, and I would be right there in the bush. Not even like from me, like I would say for me to you, but you're pretty far away.
Yeah, I know.
For me
like,
to this
like 2 or 3
belt
feet
right here, right?
Yeah.
And they would never see me. I was freaking good.
Yeah.
And me and my brothers and our buddies.
So you would want to get to as close to the action as possible without being seen.
100%.
That was your goal,
100%.
like as crazy and scary as possible without getting caught.
Yep, without getting caught. And we were freaking good. We were freaking so good, man. We would do things. So we would take it to the next level where, you know, me and my brother, who was also our part, we had created our ninja clan, right? And
you're in your 20s at this point. Could we just? I know you've done it since
well,
it
started when I was younger.
Yeah.
Right. Me and my brother and our friends, and we would go around and we would go to cul-de-sacs and change everything around. Like everybody had reeves, plants, and we would switch everything. Swing sets, we would switch it, right?
The whole swing set.
So, you know, people, when they woke up the next morning, they're like, I know I have plants, but these aren't my plants on my porch. Like, where are my plants? Like, I know I have a swing set, but that's not my swing set. Like, where did this thing come from? And we would drive by, like we would walk by and everybody would be switching stuff. Like, and like the next day, just be switching stuff. And people would leave their garage doors open at night. And we would go in there. It would take us, I don't care how long it would take us like an hour, sometimes 2 hours. We would pull everything out of their garage. Everything. I'm talking like the only thing we didn't pull out was the car. And they would be back. We would drive by or walk by the next day. I mean, in the heat, summer, and they're just sweating, pulling everything back into their house. You know, they never left their garage door open ever again. You know what I'm saying? So
nothing was stolen. It was just moved.
We just moved it. We just moved everything. We pulled it out and sit in the front yard. I remember one time this guy, I mean, he must have been a hoarder in his garage, but we pulled everything out, everything to the smallest little thing out and put it in his front yard. It was so funny. So we were ninjas, right? And I was probably maybe just graduated high school, and I had two buddies over at the house. They were watching some. I think Oscar De La Hoya was fighting somebody, and that's how long ago that was. Oscar De La Hoya was fighting somebody. It was me, my buddy Matt, and another buddy of ours. I think it might have been Tony. I don't remember, but I see we live 2 houses away from the pool. And I look out the window, it was fairly late, and I see this car drive up to the pool. I'm sitting in my bedroom, and I look out the window, and they dropped 3 people off at the pool. I'm like, quality ninja time. Let's go. So me and my buddies, we got dressed up. Tony, we got dressed up. We go to the pool, and at the pool, they have this little chain, this little white picket fence that goes all the way around it. So we go to the back end, and the pool's closed. And I know that you're not supposed to do the pool. And you're not going to get there on my pool and mess around on my watch, right? When I live, this is my neighborhood.
The ninjas are watching.
The ninjas are watching. So we were just going to like make some noise, just kind of scare them a little bit. But we were listening in, and it was a girl and 2 guys, and they were probably high school, maybe just graduated. And they were talking like, one of the kids was like, you know, how many times you go down on this guy? I'm like, wait, what? I know some blow jays aren't being given at my neighborhood pool.
Blow jays.
No blow jays, man. Not on my watch.
No blow jays on my watch.
So they're literally right next on the other side of the pool, right next to the fence. And we ninja our way around, literally, I mean, super close, not even 2 feet. And we're so close. I didn't give my buddies any warning. I didn't give him any warning. One kid on the other side of the fence had his pants all the way down, right? He was so unprepared what was about to happen next. All of them were. I didn't tell my buddies. All I said was 1, 2, 3. And I was like, mother, what the? And I jump over the fence, just yelling and cussing as loud as I can, right? The kid with his pants down, I shove him in the pool because he can't run away. This other kid tries to jump over the fence. I stick him in the back. He's like, ah! He falls down. And the girl takes off running down the road. And my buddy runs after her like, I know where you live. Don't you ever come back here ever again. Dude, it was so funny,
that is amazing. How old were you at this point, you think? And be honest.
I had just graduated probably high school. I just graduated high school.
All right. So how old
was probably
Tony?
like
so
17.
Tony was like 8.
No, he was probably in middle school. He was probably late elementary, middle school.
So he's 8 years younger than you.
Yeah,
right?
I pulled Tony. Anything that we did, Tony was with us. I made sure Tony was with us, man. Tony was with us everywhere. Yeah, it was so funny, man. It was so funny. So that was another. So we used to pull stuff out of people's garages. We would change cul-de-sacs around, switch reeds, switch plans, switch swing sessions. Oh my gosh, it was nuts, man. We terrorized that neighborhood. And we were actually in the neighborhood flyers. They called us the shadow men or something like that. You know, keep an eye out for the shadow guys.
Yeah, you guys had like a warrant out for your arrest. But it's like 20 years ago now, so I think you're safe. I don't think they could come after you anymore.
No. I mean, if I could and do this and get away with it without getting shot now, I would probably still do it.
I know.
Still be a ninja.
The ninjas are still out there, so be careful in your local
it got to the point that we had like earpieces, we had walkie-talkies. You know what I mean? We would make these Drano. We would get these little Coke bottles and fill them with Drano. And then you would put aluminum foil in it, and it created a gas where the bottle would just expand and blow up. So we had this alleyway that went from one end of the neighborhood all the way to the other end. And it was where neighborhood fences kind of backed up to each other, and then they would never touch. So it created this dark alleyway. Mm-hmm. So we just called it Dark Alley. We meet up at Dark Alley. We can travel from one end of the neighborhood without being seen, without any light, just complete darkness. So we would have these earpieces in, and we would make like a bag full of these Drano bombs, and we would all split up, and we would just plant these Drano bombs everywhere. 2 a.m. and we would meet back up, and you would put a little bit of aluminum foil. It gave you time to get away. The more aluminum foil, the faster the gas would create. So you had these bombs we would plant, these explosions we would plant. We would meet back up and just sit there and just listen to these things go off. Boom! I mean, just all over the neighborhood. Sound like just, what was it? What was that freaking war where Japan came and started bombing us? Freaking
World War II?
No. Oh. Japan.
Oh, World War I?
No. Pearl Harbor.
We're gonna edit this part out. Bombed. Pearl Harbor, baby.
Yeah. It just sounded like we were just I just kind of ruined that one. But
American history.
It was crazy. It was wild, man. We did some pretty stupid stuff in that neighborhood where they were probably glad to get rid of us when we moved out. They're like, finally, the Thompsons have left. The Thompson boys can't terrorize the neighborhood anymore. It was fun, dude. It was so fun.
Yeah, I don't think people don't realize how much of a little kid you are. And I think if it was an option, you'd still be, if there was other people to do it with right now, you'd be doing that.
100%. I'd be out right now. Yeah. UFC fighter gets arrested for terrorizing in a neighborhood.
Yes, he definitely would. If anybody's interested in doing it, he's ready to start the clan.
Come talk to me. Let's go. Start the clan back up. Chris, you're going to be in it.
I want to.
But
I'm in. I'm down to do it. I'll help come up with the plans. Thanks for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please let us know in the comments below. Won't Back Down is also available as a podcast, so feel free to give us a follow wherever you get your podcasts.